It says in 2019, this was one of her emails. Okay. It said she received, this is a Clinton email. Okay. And this email was received on 2018. Now, it says requesting documents pertaining to the resurrection chamber of Gilgamesh, the location of his body, and the location of the buried nephillim. I can tell you the location of the buried nephillim, and I can tell you the location of this chamber of Gilgamesh, or where they have his body now. They have his body up in Antarctica. Okay? This is in the book of Yasher. Okay, the apron that God made for Adam and Eve in the garden, remember? They made their own garments out of fig trees, and God said, no, I'm going to make you an apron. They had aprons like the Freemasons. Well, you know that apron was stolen many times. It was brought on to the ark. And then after the ark, Shem had it, and then it was stolen, by another character in the Bible. I'm gonna leave this to you. I'm gonna sum this up for you. Okay, that apron that God made in the garden, okay, had some sort of spiritual power. Okay, I'm going to leave this link for you. You can read it. You can watch it if you want. But it's important you understand that, Nimrod ended up with the apron. It says here, and the garments of skin which God made for Adam and his wife when they went out of the garden were given to Cush. And for after the death of Adam and his wife, the garments were given to Enoch, Jared. Enoch was taken up by God. He gave them to Methuselah. And then the death of Methuselah, Noah took them, brought them from the ark, and then were with him until he went out to the ark. And then in their going out, Ham stole the garments from Noah, his father, and he hid them from his brothers. And when Ham begat the firstborn Cush, he gave the garments in secret, and they were with Cush many days. And then Cush concealed them from his sons and his brothers. And when Cush had begotten Nimrod, he gave those garments through his love for him. And Nimrod grew up, and when he was 20 years old, he put on those garments. And Nimrod became strong when he put on the garments, and God gave him might and strength, and he was a mighty hunter in the earth. Yea, he was a mighty hunter in the field. Okay? And he hunted animals, and he built altars and offered upon them the animals before the Lord. He became a mighty one on the earth. He began to be a mighty one. Yeah, how about that? So we have this guy here talking about we had to invade Iraq because there was weapons of mass destruction. Yeah, the weapon of mass destruction was the DNA of Gilgamesh, Nimrod. They found his body, and they have the location. And they got buried Nephilim. Artifacts. Gilgamesh, they found the bones. They've had them for years. They have the DNA. Okay, they just do. They got the Nephilim. They're, frozen, or they got something. It's up in, Antarctica. This is going on right now. They're all involved with it. I think they learned how to turn the, Ark of Gabriel. I think it took them like 20 years. And I think this Ark of Gabriel, which I explained to you, is a plasma weapon. Okay? Here's Exodus. This is the cloud of glory. Now, this was the this is the tabernacle that the, Israelites carried through all their journeys, okay? And it says here that if the cloud was not lifted, there was a cloud over top of the tabernacle that would show them the way to go. It said if the cloud was not lifted, they would not set out until the day it was taken up. For the cloud of the Lord was over the tabernacle by day, and fire was in the cloud by night, in the sight of all the house of Israel through all their journeys. Okay? Look at this. The Ark of the Covenant was an embodiment of God's presence with the Israelites. Now, the Ark of Gabriel, I'm sure, okay, has the same, let's say plasma discharge from it the same way the Ark of the Covenant did. Did you know that it says that that covered the Ark was God's throne? God's presence was above it. That's the cloud I just told you. It was also the place where God met Moses and gave him commands. If someone approached the ark, they would effectively be in God's presence, a sinner standing before a holy God who does not tolerate evil, and would die as a result of their sins. For this reason, God had given the Israelites many rules concerning the Ark of the Covenant. It was to be kept in the most holy place, hidden from view by a curtain. High priest could only enter the most holy place, and then only after he had undergone ceremonial cleansing, sacrifices to atone, and for sins and nation sins, and burn incense to conceal atonement. When the ark was moved, it was covered with at least 3 layers of cloth by the priest to protect others from seeing it. And the priests, the Levites, carried it, and everyone else had to stay about 1,000 yards away. These laws enforced the concept of God's holiness. Sinful people could not be in his presence, not even the high priest. You know why? Because they would die. Well, Patriarch Carell, back in 2016, well, guess what he does? He goes over to Antarctica, okay, where they got the Ark of Gabriel hidden, and he performs a crazy ritual. A bizarre report from the Kremlin says that Patriarch Kirill has performed a strange ritual in Antarctica this week at a mysterious Ark of Gabriel, reading secret text messages given to him by Pope Francis. What? Yeah. The Ark of Gabriel was first discovered in Mecca. This is wrong. This was on the 11th, September 2011, 11/11/11, by a construction crew tunneling under the mosque. So I find it odd, because for the Ark of the Covenant, you had to stay 1,000 feet away. There had to be a ritual done, 3 layers of cloth. I mean, there's like a lot of stuff they had to do. They followed it from a cloud. During the night, it was fire. Look what's going on in Russia today. Okay? In Russia, in the Kalgol region, a replica of the Tower of Babel was burned in the Bible. The Tower of Babel is mankind's first attempt to build the world empire that would unite all peoples and nations that inhabited the earth. It is mankind's first attempt to challenge God and to take his place. It was God himself who destroyed the tower. So here's a replica burning today. Like, they probably don't need a replica. Why would you need a replica of the Tower of Babel when you have CERN? When you have how many CERNs? A lot of CERNs. All over the earth. They're still unearthing them because they've been buried. Here they are. Yeah, I'm going to get into ITER and the ether and the 5th element and a lot of other stuff.